Yeah. Yeah. You know what it is. You know what it is. Back again. 15 minutes late. You know, but listen, you gotta understand. You ever been to like a fucking concert? They be like an hour late. I seen Drake. Drake was like 2 hours late. So y'all lucky I'm only 15 minutes late. And let's start the show. Yo. What up? You know what it is, man. We back again. Victory Talk. You know, this is the podcast we do every week at 7-ish. every Tuesday, 7-ish Eastern Standard Time. And on this podcast, what we talk about? We talk about money. We talk about building your mindset. We talk about building your muscle. Money, muscle, mindset. That's what it's all about. That's what you're here for. All right. That's what you're here for. In my defense, I was up super late with the boys from Fresh and Fit last night on the Fresh and Fit podcast with the homie Derek Moneyberg. And, you know, those guys go super late, man. And the reason it lasted so long, because we didn't have this. We didn't have Thot Repellent. Had I had this on, they would have scurried. It's like raid. Like you could actually you can see what we're working on. Is it not only is it a repellent of thoughts, but you could actually spray them down with it. You can weaponize it. If thoughts come after you. I'm pregnant. Spray it down. You know what I'm saying? Once we have all of your super chats go to the development of Thot Repellent. We're trying to bring this to market, right? To repel thoughts. And listen, I'm gonna be walking around like motherfucking with holsters for this shit. Like I'm John Wick. You know what I'm saying? Like John Thot Repellent. And the reason we're so passionate about this project, it's a passion project, is because once you get your money and your mindset together, right? Once you really got it popping, the thoughts gonna be all over you. They all want ballers. They all want rich, handsome, strong, mentally strong ballers, right? It's in their DNA, man. They can't help it. They can't help it, right? And most men are weak, right? The average man has less than $1,000 in the bank account. In America, if you can't make it here, you can't make it nowhere. You know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers from these shit countries be risking their goddamn lives. I was in the Uber with a dude from Cuba, and he said he fucking tried 3 times to get here on a goddamn raft. He almost died all 3 times to get here. You know what I'm saying? That's the kind of advantages we have here in America, and you motherfuckers sitting around being poor, right? Not y'all. Y'all watching the Victory Talk. All right, y'all taking advantage of the opportunity. You know what I'm saying? My man Nima immigrated here.
Yeah, 2018.
He out here taking American jobs, man. That's what immigrants do. Hey, man.
I'm taking your job.
He came here and took your job. Good job.
Balling on your behalf.
You know what I'm saying? So it's so easy to outshine these motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? And once you outshine it, man, the thoughts going to be all over you, and they're going to try to detract you. Right? They're going to try to mess everything up. You know they're going to try to. It's in the Bible. Chapter 1. Moses wrote the book of Genesis. He was trying to tell y'all. He told us to fuck your whole shit up, man. She was out here listening to the snake. That's a whole nother lesson, right? She was out here listening to the motherfucking snake. Next thing you know, we all got to wear clothes and go to work. You know what I'm saying? Thanks, bitch. That's because there was no Thot Repellent, right? If Adam had some Thot Repellent, She'd have came in there with that bullshit. He could have just sprayed her down. Get back in the kitchen. So all your super chats going to go to the research and development Thot Repellent. You only need it if you're a baller, shot caller, right? And if you're not a baller, shot caller, don't even trip. Don't even trip. We're going to help you. That's why we're here. We're here to help you become the man who needs some Thot Repellent, right? So a few different ways we help you with that. One, the podcast, right? We got this shit on fucking the Google. Hey, Big Mo in the house. What up, homie? We got this shit on the Google Play, Apple Pods, you know what I'm saying? Spotify podcasts, all that shit, man.
All of them.
All that shit. You know, so go in there, check it out. And we got a free Discord. How much it costs? Free. Free, right? Where we're gonna show y'all how to get. I heard something crazy in the back, man. I'm gonna spray the house down. But what the fuck was I saying? Right. Oh. All right, there's some inside jokes going on here. All right, let's get focused. Let's get serious. Free Discord, right? We got a bunch of courses in there. We add in new courses all the time, ain't we? Need them. New course, free courses.
And the best of all time.
The best one is coming. Baller Mindset. This is the best shit I ever made, and I'm making it free. It might be the best. No, it is the best. You know why it's the best? Because I keep getting better. I'm like a fine wine. I'm like a Sauvignon Blanc, right? That's been aged to perfection. You know what I'm saying? Getting better every year. You know what it is, man. But listen, man. I know y'all want to get money. And that's what we're going to start. That's what today's going to be about, getting money. Because the system wants to keep you poor, brother. The system wants to keep you down, brother. But they can't keep you down if you are a real G, right? It's not even that hard to be successful. And that's what we're going to talk about today in what we call this real talk. Listen. So, I have a free course coming out called The Baller Mindset. It'll be out shortly. Right? But one of the things I really focus on in this course is how to get money. Okay. I mean, that's all it's about. But I'm breaking it down in different ways. So check this out. This is where the video starts. If you want to get money, right, you need leverage. And there are three forms of leverage. All right. There is obviously money. If you got some money, you can deploy that against goals. You can buy businesses. You can hire employees. It's easier to start a business if you got some starting capital. You can buy a bunch of stocks. You can buy real estate, and you can make money a lot faster if you have some money already. This is why the rich get richer, right? But the other form of leverage is media. For example, this example I always give, Kim Kardashian can make $1 million today by working with some brand and just promoting them on Instagram. And, she can get like $1 million for that. Like she really can, right? Because her media is so big. Or Joe Rogan was given a few $100 million by Spotify because his media was so big. His podcast was so big that they paid him for it. And he can promote other brands on it. He basically built the On It supplement line on the back of his podcast, right? And he has some leverage, or he had some equity in that company, but he was able to do that because he had media. So many people, so many eyeballs were watching it. It's easy to make money. In fact, when you talk about the mainstream media, their only job is to sell products, right? Products and services are commercial. Like the only thing the news is there for is to sell advertising. They're not there to inform you. Their one job is to sell advertisement. And the more eyeballs they have, the easier it is for them to sell advertisement. They can sell it for more money. This is why the Super Bowl is like one of the most expensive things to advertise on. This is why the Super Bowl is one of the most expensive events to advertise on, because it gets so many eyeballs, right? media. And this is also why, guys become billionaires and they start buying media companies. Wait, Jeff Bezos went and bought the Washington Post, not because the newspaper is a good business to be in, right? It's a dying form of media. However, it's still influential and it's still easier for him to make money if he's got that, right? And, or why Elon Musk bought Twitter, which is what social media. Now he's in control of it. He can start crafting narratives if he wants to, right? Media, but then skills, right? Skills, 2 L's and 1.
Skills is 1, I think.
It's 1 L?
2 L's.
It's 2 L's, man. LL. I did it right, man. You over here leading me astray.
I know, my bad.
Jesus.
Oh, God.
If any Americans out here want a job. All right, let's get serious. Skills. If you have a tremendous amount of skills in any arena, you can make a lot. You can make money a lot easier if you're one of the best in your field. For example, my top salesperson, I paid him $300,000 last year, right? But I won't say the worst, but another salesperson made $100,000 last year, right? But they worked the same amount of hours, but because his skill level was higher, he's been doing it a lot longer. He was able to make more money for the same amount of work. You get what I'm saying? I grew up with a guy named Larry Fitzgerald. We used to hit his dad. Sorry. His grandfather was really good friends with my dad. And we used to go over his house for Kwanzaa. Kwanzaa's like Black Christmas. Black Christmas. I don't really know what Kwanzaa is, but we used to celebrate it at Larry Fitzgerald's house. And he got sent away to live with his uncle, Chris Carter, who was a Hall of Fame wide receiver in the NFL. Chris helped him develop this skill set of catching footballs, and he became one of the best in the world at catching footballs, and he made millions and millions of dollars. Wasn't working harder than me. He's just better than me at a skill set that people were willing to pay a lot of money for. Now that we got that covered, what we want to focus on in this video is how you can develop skills. Because if you can develop skills at a high level, it'll be a lot easier to make money. Right? Now you got to decide what skill you want to develop. Right? But you got to think about what you're trying to accomplish, how you're trying to accomplish it. And if you can be one of the best at it, people will pay you a lot of money. For example, I got a friend named Jeremy Hayes, who's one of my best friends. And he is one of the best Facebook ads managers in the world. He runs my ads, right? And I know a lot of people who have Facebook ad agencies, right? But they don't make as much money as Jeremy. He just bought a Ferrari, Porsche. He's got all types of shit. He's really, really rich. And he's only 28, right? But he's super rich because he's one of the best at what he does. So people like me pay him top dollar to get the results he can get, right? I had another mentor. His name was Kevin Hodo, and he was one of the best as well. He taught me how to run Facebook ads before I had Jeremy running mine. And he's one of the best in the world. He was super rich, and he ran the ads for Alex Hormozy's gym launch company back in the day. He kind of helped them start that as from an advertising perspective. And he was my mentor. He's dead now, but he was one of the best in the world. He made a lot of money, millions and millions of dollars, right? So it doesn't really matter what it is. If you're really good, you can make a lot of money a lot faster. But how good do you have to be? Well, check this out. This is skill level or performance, right? Let's say your performance is correlated with your skill level, right? So let's say you do something bad. What kind of results do you think you're going to get? Right? Nothing, right? You get nothing for sucking. If you trash, you get fucking fired, right? You bad at your job, you're getting the fuck out of here. You a bad boyfriend, bad girlfriend, you getting dumped and shit, right? Let's say you're good. what do you think you get? If you're good, what kind of results you get? Well, most people think you get good results. No, motherfucker, you get poor results because everything is pretty good. Like it's hard to buy a bad computer now, right? You can any new car you get off of any lot, if it's new, it'll probably be good, right? So there's too much competition at good, right, to really stand out. Now, what if you're outstanding? What kind of results do you get? You get good results, right? You don't get outstanding results. You get good results because now you're just better than the average, right? Good is average. Good is average. You're so a little bit above average, so you get good results. What if you're elite? What if you're elite? What do you get? You get everything, right? Because people only really want to fuck with the best, and the cream always rises to the top. And if you are one of the best in your field, you can charge whatever you want, right? Hey, this is a good podcast. I'm gonna be honest with you, it's a really good podcast. But who's elite? Like Joe Rogan, right? They gave him $100 million or something like that, right? He's also been doing it a lot longer, right? You know, this is like our fucking third episode or something. Anyway, so it stands to reason because if you look at the three forms of leverage when it comes to making money, skills is one of the best ones. Skills is one of the best ones. Anyone can get better at something. Anyone can get really good at something, but how do you do it? Well, let's get into it. When I was a child, I read a book called, hold on, let me pull it up. I read a book called Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell. I have all of Malcolm's books. I read them all. I have an autographed copy of The Tipping Point, which is one of his best books. Excuse me. And in this book, one of the things he asserted was called the 10,000 hour rule, right? To be world class, elite level at something, you got to put in 10,000 hours, right? And he gave a lot of examples. You know, one of the reasons Bill Gates became the richest man in the world at one time is because he was really good at computers, but he was kind of lucky in that regard. He went to a high school, like one of the first high schools in America that had like a computer program. So he was able to put in those hours. He was like obsessed with it. He got real good. Or the Beatles, another example Malcolm gives in the book is the Beatles played for years before they put out their first album. They just went touring around Europe and shit playing, right? So they got really good before they even recorded their first album, right? It's just putting in the hours. You can get good at anything if you put in the hours. Now, a lot of people don't believe that, even though they read this book, and the link's in the description if you want to check it out, right? I read a different book after that, and it was called The Talent is Overrated, right? I think talent is a myth, right? Most people I know are not good at stuff just naturally. Like Larry Fitzgerald could not catch footballs any better than me when we was kids, right? He did not stand out, right? He wasn't like better than me, but he had elite training from one of the best in the world. And he got in well over 10,000 hours before he went to college, right? That's what this book kind of asserted, right? You can get good at anything if you put in the work, right? And when I look at these two books, what I came up with, okay, 10,000 hours makes you really good at anything. Okay. Now here's the thing though. Hold on, not yet. You don't need to be an expert at anything, right? I'm sorry. You don't need to be, okay. 10,000 hours makes you one of the best in the world. It makes you one of the best. How do I put this? 10,000 hours makes you elite, right? At any skill set. But you don't need 10,000 hours for anything. I mean, for everything. You don't need 10,000 hours for everything. So I came up with my own version of this after reading those books, you know, and what I kind of realized was it's not 0 hours and 10,000 hours, right? There's a gradient in between. And I came up with this with myself, you know, when I was in my 20s. And I want to, this is the first time I'm kind of sharing this publicly. And I want to share this with you. When I first came across this, it was when I first developed this theory is when I was learning how to play guitar. I could play drums in high school, and I played keyboard when I was a kid, and I wanted to learn guitar and wanted to pick it up. And I did a lot of research all over the web, and people were saying, okay, you'll be pretty good in 90 days, 3 months, if you practice an hour a day. Right. So it kind of, I saw that all over the world, the web, and then I did that and I got okay. But the more work I put in, the more hours I put in, I just noticed the skill level kind of jumped up a lot significantly. Right. And I got pretty good at guitar at around 10,000 hours. So what I started doing was tracking my hours, right? Because I was thinking, okay, 93 months, hour a day, that's about 90 hours. I started tracking my hours, right? With a little spreadsheet, how many hours I practiced. And I got decent at 100 hours. But at 1,000 hours, I was pretty fucking good, right? If you're ever bored, search on YouTube, Brandon Carter acoustic cover. You'll see some like amazing guitar. You'll see what 1,000 hours of guitar looks like. Right? It's pretty fucking good. Right? Not one of the best in the world. You know what I'm saying? I ain't making Carlos Santana nervous. You know what I'm saying? John Mayer didn't fucking DM me saying, man, asking for lessons and shit. Right? But you know, anybody who saw it would be like, oh, that guy's pretty good. Right? But I extrapolated that to different fields, right? So every time I wanted to learn something, I started to look at it in terms of hours I put in. Okay. So when I wanted to learn how to do handstand push-ups, you guys see me doing handstand push-ups, clapping handstand push-ups, tiger bends, all the crazy calisthenic stuff. Yeah, I wasn't born able to do that, right? I had to practice, and I couldn't even hold the handstand at first, right? But it took me about, man, close to 1,000 hours to really get the handstand where I can do it on command every time without falling, like just whenever you tell me to, right? It's because it's one thing to get it and you can do it sometimes, but I could do a handstand push-up any moment. Wake me up in the middle of the night, put a gun to my head, do a handstand push-up, and I'll just knock it out. All right, man, fuck, get out of here, knock it off. That wasn't a challenge. You come up in here. Be like the fucking equalizer. You know what I'm saying? I digress. Master, but it took about 1,000 hours when I tracked it to get to that point where I can just do it on command. And anything I wanted to accomplish, anything I wanted to get really good at, I actually studied this. I started tracking my hours, right? And I tracked my salespeople hours when I wanted to. I can tell how long it takes for a salesperson to get good enough where he's making a lot of money for me in the company. And around the 10,000, around the 1,000 hour mark, they're a good salesperson, right? But there's levels to this shit, right? I've been doing sales since I was 16, and my dad was a good salesperson. So I have, if I say my numbers, you guys won't believe it, but statistically, I'm one of the best in the world, right? But I have a lot of fucking hours of it, right? I wasn't really born with it. So let me show you this chart, and this is something I made, right? So this is hours you put in of practice. You can master any skill. And this is what the skill levels look at like at different hours, right? So at 100 hours, it's like you're not bad. Nobody's going to say you're awesome, right? It's not going to be like jaw dropping. You're not going to do something and then chicks are going to throw their bras at you and then like that, right? You're not bad. I didn't say you were good. You're just not bad, you know? At 1,000 hours, then you're good. You're good. Oh, that guy's pretty good. Now, at 2,000 hours, that's when you're really good. Like that's when you stand out. Like you're well above average. People are impressed with your skill level. This is anything you're trying to accomplish, anything you want to get good at around 2,000 hours. At 5,000 hours, you're amazing. Like people see you do it and they're left in awe, right? They can't get over it, right? At 10,000 hours, according to Malcolm Gladwell and a bunch of other research, 10,000 hours, you're one of the best. Like you're one of the best, right? At 20,000 hours, I believe you're one of the best ever. Like you're one of the best to ever do it. You get what I'm saying? And you can see this when you look at like sports. I mean, who are some of the best basketball players? Think about someone like Steph Curry, right? Well, there's footage of him as a little kid. His dad was in NBA, and his dad would take him to practice, and he's practicing with the team as a little kid. You get what I'm saying? I talked to my sister's ex-husband, one of my sister's ex-husbands. he had a stepson from another marriage or some shit. I didn't know how it worked, right? It wasn't his kid, but he loved him. Anyway, he was really good at basketball. He was to a Division I basketball team, and he wasn't good enough to get drafted, but he was good enough to get, a contract playing overseas. So he's a professional basketball player, right? And I asked him, what's the difference between a kid who's really good and a kid who becomes like a professional basketball player or goes to the NBA or all that stuff, right? Because a lot of that kid's friends are in the NBA right now. Some of them are in the playoffs today. And I asked him, what's the difference? He said, well, the kids who are going to go to the NBA at like age 5, 6, they're practicing with like real coaches. You know what I'm saying? Think about that. Like they're children, right? And they're practicing already at like 5, 6 to be one of the best. You know what I'm saying? And you can also see that with like Tiger Woods. There's footage of him as a little kid, like 5, 6. And he was on like the Tonight Show with Johnny Carson playing golf because he was like amazing at it. His dad was a professional golfer and he trained him since he was a child. Right? That's why he's one of the best ever. He got that over 20,000 hours. Now, what does that look like for you? Right? You're not Tiger Woods. You ain't Steph Curry. You ain't my sister's ex-husband's stepson from his old marriage. What does that mean for you watching this? All right. Well, you can get good at anything, right? If you put in the work. What does the work look like? So an hour a day, right? An hour a day, you can get 100 hours and be like not bad in 3 months, right? 3 months, right? That's not a problem. You can be like not bad at anything, right? If you want, if you do 2 hours a day, it's going to take you 1.7 months, right? 3 hours a day takes you about a month. 4 hours a day, you can do it in 25 days. I don't have that time. Shut up. Don't type. One of you fucking dorks is thinking to type in, I don't have time to practice or get good at something. That's cool, man. Success is not for you. If you wanted it bad enough, you would. But you motherfuckers are so eager. I can tell you motherfuckers are so eager to argue for your own limitations. You could if you wanted to, all right? Or maybe not if you got like 12, 13 kids, right? You made some bad decisions, man. You know what I'm saying? You should have wore condoms, pulled out, did both. But nah, you got 30 kids, all right? You can't do it, all right? Maybe you can teach this to your kid and they won't be a dummy like you. All right. Now, let's say you want to get 1,000 hours. This is the point where you're like good at something. 1,000 hours, all right? What does that look like? An hour a day? That's going to take you 1.7 years, right? 2 hours a day is going to take you 1.3 years. 3 hours a day, you can do it in a year. 4 hours a day, this is really where the magic is. You know what I'm saying? 4 hours a day, you can get there in 8 months. At anything. And this should be encouraging if you want to get good at something like sales. If you have a sales job, where you're going to be fucking doing this shit like for 8 hours a day, right? At least. You know what I'm saying? So this should be encouraging. Did you just know if you're not good now, you can get good? But I think a big problem people have is they think it's talent, like a God-given talent you're just born with. Yeah, some people are born with different advantages, right? Like if you're fucking 4 feet tall, you're probably not gonna go to the NBA. I get it, right? But most skills you can improve it at least, right? All right, if you want to get really good, that 2,000 hour mark, 1 hour a day, 5.5 years, 5.5 years, 2 hours a day, about 2.5 years. 3 hours a day, 3 years. 4 hours a day, 16 months. 4 hours a day, 16 months. All right. It's 4 hours a day this is a sweet spot, man. I'm telling you, right? You want to be amazing. That 5,000 hour mark. All right. 1 hour a day. It's going to take you about 13 and a half years. 2 hours a day is going to take you almost 7 years. 3 hours a day is going to take you 4.5 years. 4 hours a day is going to take you about 4 years. I mean, three and a half years, right? You want to be one of the best, elite, right? So in Malcolm Gladwell's book, Outliers, he said that it takes about 10 years to become a master at something, right? To get that 10,000 hours. On average, it takes people about 10 years to become one of the best at something, right? You know, and that's kind of reflected in my mathematical model, right? So if you're only practicing an hour a day, it's going to take you like 27 years, right? If you're practicing 2 hours a day, it's going to take you 13 and a half years, 9 years, around 9 years. If you do 3 hours a day, 4 hours, man, that's where the magic is. That's really where the magic is. And if you want to be one of the best ever, the kind of motherfuckers people put posters up of, build statues for, right? All right. Well, hours a day is going to take you 54 years. Right? 2 hours a day is going to take you 27.3 years. 3 hours a day is going to take you 18 years. And 4 hours a day, though, man, 13.6 years. Right? Now, here's the thing. You don't need to be the best in the world at everything. Right? You got to pick your things. You really got to pick your things. You know what I'm saying? And don't let this discourage you, right? It should actually encourage you. It should really encourage you because you can get good at anything, right? I just said, hey, I want to start playing the guitar. And I got good at it. I just put in the hours, you know? And then how it make me more money is really sales. Like I was fortunate to be doing sales from a super young age. You know what I'm saying? And I'm 40 years old now and I've been doing sales since I was like, I don't know, 16. I got a lot of hours, right? And the beauty of this is, man, if you really just go for it, you can really apply yourself. You can be one of the best in no time at something. You can be one of the best in no time, right? And if you do 8 hours, let's say you have a sales job, right? You work that job, it's 8 hours a day, where you can cut these in half. Right? Just 8 hours a day. You can cut that in half and be one of the best salespeople in the world. And when it comes to skills and making money, sales is like the fucking cheat code. Sales is the cheat. Sales is probably one of the best skills you can have, right? Because you can always find work. I remember my dad told me I was a little kid. He said, listen, if you know how to sell, man, you don't never really have to worry about money. You know what I'm saying? You don't never really have to worry about money. And I took that into account, right? And this gives me like a lot of confidence because I know no matter what happens in business and life, if I lose everything, then I can just start selling something. I can call up some of the homies, or if I had to, I'd sell used cars. I ain't above that. You know what I'm saying? And I know I'm really good. I'm good enough to make a whole lot of money doing that. And you should really be encouraged. Now, here's the thing. You're going to need a regiment. You're going to need a regiment, right? And I suggest you make yourself some sort of spreadsheet. And you start tracking your hours each day on the skill, right? And put that time in your calendar that you're going to practice. Unless the skill you're trying to develop is part of your job, well, then it's already there, right? You just got to start taking it seriously. And a lot of times people will try something new and it won't work day one. But they don't understand this shit, right? It takes time to get good at things. Of course you suck, right? It takes time to get good at things, right? You got to put in the hours. So if you suck at first, yeah, you're supposed to. It'd be weird if you were just good at something like that. That's not a thing. That's not a thing. Like there's rarely of anything valuable are people just good at naturally, right? Even singers who like they may be born with a great voice, the top singers still have vocal coaches and trainers, and they're still working at it every day. I saw a, I got somebody gave me a guitar recently, and I was like, all right, let me start playing again. And I saw a little documentary on the guitar player from Maroon 5, right? And these motherfuckers got Grammys. They sold millions and millions of dollars, millions and millions of albums, real successful band. And he said when he's not on tour, he goes and works with a teacher, right? He has an actual teacher. He is a Grammy Award winning he sold millions and millions of albums as the lead guitarist for one of the biggest bands in the world, maybe of all time, maybe, right? Statistically. And he still works with a teacher. Think about that. He's still trying to get better, right? It never ends. So someone like me, I'm always learning. I'm always getting new mentors, joining masterminds, reading books, and trying to build my skills up, right? Because it's super important, and you can just make more money the better you are. The better you are, you can make more money, right? So I encourage you to put together a regimen for yourself and start tracking the time you spend each day working on this skill set, and just don't even get discouraged. You don't even have to look at the results, because that's what's going to make you. The results you get from the skill, right? If you want to get good at something, you being good at it is a result, right? If you look at that, you're going to get discouraged. But the leading indicator is how many hours you put in each day. And then it's just math. If you want to get good at something, it's just math. All it is math. That's all you have to do. You can get good at anything if you put in that work. Let's get to it.
Okay, I found this on the web for anything.
What's happening?
Check it out.
Is that coming from my computer?
No.
Yeah, I don't know what that was. We need some more hours in podcasts. I'm gonna be honest with you, man. We need to put some more hours in. Hey, we got any super chats or any comments or anything?
We do.
Nice.
We have Karakurt. Best way to memorize a book. Shout out from Denmark.
It's difficult to memorize a book. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's super difficult. One thing I do is hold on, let me grab one. This is one of my favorite books, Deep Work by Cal Newport. Big Cal, what up? And what I'll do is I'll highlight, underline, and mark stuff, ear book pages as I read, and then I go back and reread it, but I only read the highlights. And I'll do that over and over again. And I kind of think that's the best way. Another thing that helps me, this is weird, like I teach the shit, right? Like I teach the shit I learn. I mean, I practice. I try to put what I learn into practice immediately. I get some more insight from it, kind of like how I read those two books just a minute ago. And you know what? So if you want to remember everything you read, it's not necessarily as easy as some people think. Right? You're not going to just memorize a whole book, and you probably don't need to, right? So again, one thing I do is as I read, I go through and I highlight the most important parts, the parts that really stand out. I might earmark pages, right? Underline stars, right? Then I'll reread it again. I'll only read what I underline. And then I'll put more aggressive markings on the parts that really stand out. And the next step, so that would be step 2. Like step 1 is reading it and underlining. Step 2 is reading what you underlined. Step 3 is taking what you underlined and summarizing it in notes. So I do that all the time. I have different notebooks in Apple Notes or Microsoft OneNote where I summarize my highlights, right? And step 4 is to actually put what you've learned into practice, like put it into practice, start actually living it. Because you remember what you read, but it's easier to remember what you've done, Like when you do something, then it's ingrained into your brain at a lot deeper. And then the next level is to actually teach it to people. So if you really want to get good at something, if you really want to know a topic, teach it, right? One of the reasons I'm such a great trainer, or no, one of the reasons I'm in really good shape is because I'm a trainer, right? So when you teach something, you learn it way more because you have to say it over and over again to people and to different people. And I just really know it. And one of the reasons, and I really think that teaching business to my students who I teach to build their online fitness business actually made me better at business. Right. So that's kind of a cheat code. You know, they say those who can't do teach. Teach. You really learn stuff. It helps the teacher way more. One of my sales guys, my top sales guy, Brian, I used to be the sales manager, and I just noticed that, whoa, I got way better at sales when I taught it. So when I stepped down from that role, I promoted Brian to sales manager, but he was still doing sales. And over time, his closing rate increased dramatically. One, he just got more practice, over time that's going to happen. But I talked to him about this, and he said actually teaching it to people made him better. So he said it feels like the game is slowed down for him, right? So it's not just about reading. It's about reading, then you summarize it, and you practice it. And if you really want to master it, you teach it. That's what I like to do with books. But you don't do that with every book you read, right? You know what I'm saying? Just the ones that are most impactful.
We have Kamal Hakim.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, Brandon, you have a solid team established. I'm a video editor, and I would like to know if there's room for me to add value to your squad. Keep balling.
Yeah, Kamal, send me a DM on Instagram, Nimul TV, NIMOUL TV.
Yeah, Nima will take care of you.
Let's talk.
You know what I'm saying?
We have David 111 back. Brandon, what actions guarantee being top 1%?
We're going to cover that in depth in the baller mindset course that's coming out. Nima, when's it going to be out?
So the course is ready, to be honest.
Is it?
Yeah. I mean, in terms of production, we are just waiting for the team to finish up the actual.
Listen, because it's too much for me to say right now. All right, just do this. Right? It's a big question. It's like,
yeah. Do you want to tell them how many courses are in? Like
how many modules?
Like, do you want to give them some numbers so they get a
Tell me how many videos are in?
So there are 8 modules.
8 modules.
Starting like from scratch, fresh. And in total, there are 38 videos.
38 videos.
And on average, the length is like 8-10 minutes.
Come on, man.
It's pretty solid. It's amazing.
Best work I've ever done. Right. And I got Nima put the editing. It's going to be tremendous. Right. And if you follow the steps that are laid out in the baller mindset course, I guarantee you'll be in 1%. But most of y'all too weak to follow it, though. That's the problem. I'm not saying you are David 111. You might be, but most people are just too weak to do it. We'll see. You know what I'm saying?
We have Egg Racer. He donated twice.
Egg Racer, what up?
Said nothing at all.
Come on, man. Hey, man, they don't need to be said. You know what I'm saying? you know what I'm saying? He basically with those $2 2 times, that $4, he just said, man, I just want to help the cause. Get the Thot Repellent out. When these chicks out here ruining men's lives, man.
Gabe asked, would you recommend trading futures as a living?
If you're good, right? So here's the thing. The average trader loses like 90%, loses all their money in like a matter of months, right? It takes time to become an expert at this, So to do it to get to a point where you do it for a living, it's going to take you're going to have to build up some expertise in it. You have to build up some expertise in that regard, right? So is it possible? Yeah, but you got to know that it's going to take you some time to get good at it. Now, the cheat code is to work with somebody who's already good. right? You know, when I was learning how to trade, I started working with the homie Romulus, right? Because my homie Moneyberg taught me how to invest, but he's not into trading. He just likes investing, you know. But I wanted to trade too, man. I'm a risk taker, you know. And I started working with Romulus, and my trading just exploded, and I got way better. But it's also like time, though. It still took some time for me to get really good, but Romulus helped expedite that process. You know what I'm saying? So it's definitely possible. Speaking of which, I think we got Romulus right here, man, with the market recap. Big dog. What's up, Romulus, man? My trading mentor. What's up, man?
Doing great, Brandon. Nice to see you. And
Hey, man.
finally, after doing this with each other for about 6 months, I figured out a way to get my picture up on the screen. What do you think?
Hey, man, listen, you know.
I've been working out too.
Yeah, no. I mean, I know you're in better shape now, right? So, like, you got the old pictures up, you know. Yeah.
Exactly right. Yeah. You know, it's all about 4 things: spiritual, mental, emotional, and physical well-being. And I like to keep everything in balance over there, working to improve myself. Just you know, that's all it takes, Brandon. Just try to get yourself better in all 4 of those categories. Just do it 1% a day. That's all you got to do.
Yeah, man. Just get better.
I mean, everybody
can
can
talk
do
about here. Just skill acquisition, getting better at things.
Yeah, everybody can do but 1% a day, right? And now multiply that over the course of a year, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, and then you'd be looking like me.
Yeah, you know, listen, Romulus, you're the best like trader I've ever met, right? And you know, seriously, you know, and as far as like trading stocks, short-term trading, like I don't know anyone's better than you. How long have you been doing? Just to elaborate on what I was talking about earlier. I was talking about skill acquisition. How many years have you been trading?
Yeah, I mean, I was fighting in the Coliseum for a long time out in the fields of Mars, but I started on Wall Street in real life in September of 1994. And I wish that they taught me how to trade back then at first. They didn't. I was a broker and I worked, you know, I was working 90 hours a week back then, every day, every week, putting in 90 hours a week. And all we were supposed to do, though, was just pitch the latest stock or idea from the firm, from the parent company, from the, you know, the big brother, so to speak. Get on the phones and just kind of talk about the same thing every day for 3 months and then switch to a different stock or a different idea and keep going. But I wanted to make money for people. I wanted to be the guy that could help the customer buy the yacht that I saw out in the yacht club over just south and west a little bit of the World Trade Center center. I don't, when I say World Trade Center, everyone thinks of the Twin Towers, but you know, from growing up in that area, that it was an entire center. It was like a whole complex. There were the Twin Towers. Smaller buildings that were high-end restaurants and bars. And then there was that yacht club out there.
Yeah.
Okay? And it was right. I mean, every morning when I get out of the PATH train to go to work, to head back to Wall Street, I would pass those yachts and I'd say, I want to be the one guy that cares enough about this to figure out how to help people make money to buy those yachts.
Yeah.
Because what I saw was the only people who owned those yachts were the guys that owned the broker dealers. That didn't really sit well with me. So I started doing a lot of work on my own, stumbled across a few books. In the backs of the books, there were other books mentioned. There were groups, organizations, and individuals. And I joined the groups. I went to the organizational seminars and conferences, and I hunted people down. I stalked them. I stalked people. I stalked people like Ralph Acampora. Okay. Anyone who, if you want to learn more about trading and investing, if you're interested in the history of all this, and you should be, if you care about your bottom line, if you care about growing your wealth immensely, look up Ralph Acampora. Okay. I used to sit there at the guy's feet practically, but he was real busy. It's not like he had a teaching program. It's not like he offered himself out to official mentorship. I mean, I get to talk to him once every 3 or 4 or 5 months.
Yeah.
But those conversations were so critically important. I was writing everything down. I was soaking it all in, taking everything I could. And then there was a seminar and I'd go to that. And someone, I mean, I may have told you the story before, but there was one individual who had some information. He was real elusive, or just, you know, didn't put himself out there in the public. This is before all the social media, texting and emailing and all this other stuff that is so prevalent today. But he had one thing. He had one thing that I wanted to know, just one.
Yeah.
And I knew about it a little bit. And I knew that he was the one who could tell me how to implement this thing. And I'm not going to tell everybody what this is today. But I was living on the East Coast and he was in California. He wouldn't answer voicemails. I couldn't get a hold of him anyhow. So I flew my ass out of California and I stalked him. Yeah. And I basically just drove around until I found the guy.
Yeah.
And then we spent a day together and he told me everything I needed to know. And then I went back. Another story, I found out about a guy in New York City. This is when I was, at the time I think I was living in Florida. I was living in Vero Beach, a little bit north of you. And I was reading about a particular guy and some things he was doing. And again, hard to get a hold of directly, but I knew where he worked. He worked at the south end of Wall Street near the river.
Mm-hmm.
I knew he would show up early about 6:30 every morning. And I stayed outside his building on the off chance that he was going to get there early at about 5. I got there at 5 a.m. He got there late that day, of course. My luck, right? He gets there late. So he shows up at 7:30 instead of his normal 6. So I waited for 2.5 hours, rolled the elevator up with him, got about 10 minutes, and that was it. These were the lengths that I was willing to go to. Brandon, over the course of my entire career, I've spent north of $300,000 doing all this ability and knowledge.
And it sounds like this is 29 years. Almost 30 years of, you know what I'm saying? Like almost 30 years of working on Wall Street, working in the markets.
Yeah.
Because think about this, because what I was talking about earlier, Nima, can you show my screen for me? Because what I was talking to them was about how to get good at stuff, skill acquisition, right?
There you go.
And you've heard about the 10,000 hour rule, right? You maybe, but I think there's something called the 20,000 hour rule, which makes you one of the best ever. And I don't know if you've been doing this, you probably got way more than 20,000 hours over the last 30 years.
Yeah. I mean, hell, if I was doing 90 hours a week for, 52 weeks times,
come on, man,
just 3 years, I did that. That's 14,000 hours just right there. Just in the first 3 years of my career.
Yeah. So it makes a lot of sense why, it makes a lot of sense why you're one of the best at trading, right? Because you actually put in the hours.
One of the things that I was kind of, I guess, praised for a while ago, I used to do a lot of writing in the public space. Now, my writing, my research, my commentary, they're primarily reserved for people in our Legion. And by the way,
man, join the Discord if you want to learn more about it.
Yeah, go ahead. You might want to put the link up. I know that's something you guys do on occasion here. Go ahead. This is a free place. You can get in there. My legatus Greg and I were doing a quick free trader town hall tomorrow at this Discord at 4:15. And we'll talk more about that in a minute. But, I would just sit there and put this time into this craft, into this art, into this science to gain the skill. But years ago, when I was writing in the public space, I've been published more than 500 times in major magazines and newspapers all over the world. You may have heard of places like, they're not so big anymore, but you may have heard of things like Barron's. Investors Business Daily.
I have before I met you, I had subscriptions to all of them.
Bloomberg Magazine. I have had pieces published in all of those at different times. At one point in my career, Brandon, I was being flown from where I live out to New York, and they put me, here was the rotation. I'd get up early, I'd stay at the hotel, the Marriott there near Times Square, just off Times Square. With the rotating restaurant on the top of it, that's where they put me up. Not at the restaurant, but in that hotel. And Fox was on the Avenue of America, 6th Avenue, which is 2 blocks away. That's why they put me up there. But Bloomberg was over on, I think, 1st Avenue or 2nd Avenue, 3rd, something like that. And then CNBC had offices over in Rockefeller Center. Anyway, here's the routine. I'd get up, I'd walk over to Fox, go in there, check in, do about an hour. And then a car would take me over to Bloomberg, and I jump on there. And then a car would take me over to CNBC, and I'd go on there. Another car would take me over to CNN. And I would do that 5 days for the week, and then I'd come home. And 4 or 5 months later, I'd do it again. And do it again, and do it again. And I've been on national television.
Come on, man. You've been doing this.
A long ass time. And by the way, everybody who's talking about skill acquisition and improving yourself and getting better and growing your wealth, getting more spiritually connected, mentally acute, emotionally stable, physically jacked, all of these things go together. And I can tell you that all the great things that happened to me, not one of them fell in my lap. Not one.
Yeah, you got to put in that work, man.
Every single thing I did, there was another, almost like they call it moving the flywheel. You got to put that shoulder into it for that first brute force. And then it starts to move. You got to keep on it. I'll tell you, when I was at Fox News, here's what happened. I was on Fox Business, which was a brand new network back then. And a lot of guys that were working at CNBC and Bloomberg, who I knew and worked with, they went over there to help start the network. And I kept their phone numbers. I called them. They said, sure, we know who you are. We had you before. You're great. Come on. I went over there. And then after I was done with the airtime, nobody cared where I went or what I did. Do you see the advantage of this? I used to walk around the entire Fox offices by myself, unchaperoned, and I'd find people, and I'd just go in their office, and I'd sit down and say, who do you know?
Talk to them.
And I just talked to them. I listen, everyone knows who Neil Cavuto is because he's had a huge show on Fox for years and years and years. I was walking around on the 5th floor, nobody around, half the lights were off. One guy was in his office with the lights on. I walked past, I recognized him, I reversed, knocked on his door, and he said, hey, I said, Mr. Cavuto, you got a second? He said, yeah, come on and call me Neil, sit down. An hour and a half later, I got up and left the room. You see what I'm saying about just being forthright, moving ahead, constantly seeing where the doors that nobody else even sees that they're there, let alone open?
That's what you got to do, man. You know, listen, speaking of that, man.
Sorry, but
I know it's all good, man. It's all good, man. You know, it's just what's up with the market, man? That's what I want to know. I want that knowledge from you, brother.
Absolutely. That's what we're here. So let's do a little screen sharing. And this always takes a second to kind of get going, as you know, but we're excited about this. So let's put this up here and give it a second there. So before I get into the markets, I had this up as we were talking earlier about different people that I pursued, got to know, had relationships with. There's one guy, John Murphy. He wrote this book. This is the Bible of technical analysis trading. Anyone who comes in contact with technical analysis who hasn't read this book, do so immediately. Everybody knows this book if you're worth anything in this industry. Okay. Yeah. Everybody. In 2009, I'm sitting in my office. It's quiet one day. Phone rings. This is when we had real landlines. I picked up the phone. He said, hey, this is John Murphy. Now, I immediately think John Murphy, the guy that writes the books. Yeah. But I'm thinking it can't be him. Why would he call me? Okay. Yeah. I said, John, you John from, I met you at the seminar last year or whatever. He said, yeah, that's me. He said, listen, I've been hearing a lot about you. I've been checking into you and your work for the last 6 months. I don't have time to trade my own money anymore. I'm on the speaking circuit and I'm just getting older and I don't want to do it. Would you trade my account for me?
Come on, man. Let's go.
John Murphy. That was one of the greatest things that ever happened to me in my career.
I remember you telling me that story a long time ago. Yeah.
Oh, it was fantastic, guy. And he was great. I traded his account for a while and then he just took his money, put it in some bonds and gold and sat there because he's really, well advanced in years right now. Yeah. All right. So anyway, I think I have to stop screening this one because it didn't turn pages. But let's just set it up again because I got the new page up and we'll get that going. And here we go. There it is. And that should do the trick. Give it a second. 1, 2, 3. Let me know if you see it as well as the audience.
I see it, man. What are we looking at? Bitcoin?
Yeah. So I had a little chart of Bitcoin up here for fun. There's a possibility of a little bit of a problem. This pattern is just called a symmetrical triangle. It's still in it. It's not a big deal. The big deal is certainly that it closed below that yellow line, which is kind of a support line. If that happened for the first time since March 12th, it happened a little bit of a volume jump. As of right now, it's not something to be extremely overly concerned about, but you can kind of see that yellow line right there and the blue line, which is not extended, but pretend it is. So this is called a symmetrical triangle. Okay. It can break either way. The problem with it right now is they typically don't come right out to the tip. Okay. Yeah. They lose their
when I first learned in technical analysis from you, that was one of the things that kind of like, it doesn't come to the end.
It doesn't, because think about it. It'll break one way or another. If it gets all the way to the tip, all it has to move is a penny.
Yeah, yeah.
And then there's no validity there.
So when it breaks out either direction, up or down, that's where you take the trade.
Think that's where the follow through should be, in the direction of the breakout. Symmetrical triangles, like most triangles, are more often continuation patterns than reversal patterns. If that's the case, you would expect it to break up because it has been moving up for most part of the year. Yeah. Anyway, just keep an eye. I know a lot of people out there trading cryptos, and there you go. That's just a little something off the top of my head about crypto.
Can I ask you a question? If you look at it before it was high base and before it went in that symmetrical triangle, that was a high base, right? Then it went up. Would you call that like a false breakout? Because it
yes, went... yeah. So what happens? False breakout is one of two things: either complete false breakout, and then it trades below the lower end of the symmetrical triangle and it goes lower, or this is just saying that it just needed more time. That this was just kind of a temporary thing. That it really should have just been doing this more. It needed more time to consolidate, more time for the buyers to get energized, more time for the sellers to say, I'm not going to sell until I see a higher price.
All right. So we're just watching this right now, but you're expecting a break to the upside potentially.
The odds are ever so slightly tilted toward an upside breakout, but you have to watch it because, again, symmetrical triangles could definitely break to the downside. And you already saw a pre-warning to that 2 days ago when it traded and closed below the 50 for the first time again since March 12th.
It's probably going to break to in the next day or two.
It would have to, or the whole triangle pattern is invalidated because, again, you're getting too close to the tip. You're getting too close to the end of the snout, so to speak. When you picture just, the 2 points hitting, then when you get to the 2 points hitting, the pattern no longer has any validity. Okay, so that's that involved. Now, Brandon, we've had some really fun trades the last couple of weeks. Okay? Yeah. Really fun trades. I mean, the crowd, the Legion bought some positions about, 2 weeks ago, and we just kind of took sitting positions, kind of longer term stuff. This was one of them. This was another. This was another. And so we did 4. We put on 4 positions. Yeah. Three of the 4 are nicely profitable. This one right here is down by just a little bit. So that's nice that you had this cover, because what's happening with all 4 of those positions is they're going up in value as the rest of the stock market is going down in value. Yeah. Like as in yesterday and today. So that's nice because we're making money, on either side of that. Last week, a couple of weeks ago, we put on a short position using some really fun options strategies. And I say fun because I love this stuff. I geek out on it. It does take a little bit of, kind of effort to get some of these options trades laid out there. But again, I love it. I enjoy doing it. I enjoy helping people get this stuff figured out. And we had a short. This was courtesy of Legatus Greg. We had a short position in this particular solar panel equipment manufacturer called Enphase. This is one of those stocks that's highly loved by the YouTube crowd. There's a joker by the name of Meet Kevin. And I say joker, he's not awful in terms of, just general ideas, but he should not say any more words about stocks. Okay?
Yeah, man, just talk about the economy or something.
Just talk about the economy, interview politics, people that are economists or housing or whatever, but stop talking about stocks. And you have an ETF. You're encouraging people to buy into your ETF, which is owning stocks. And I'm here to tell you, Kevin, you don't know shit about the stock market. Okay? You don't know shit about the stock market. Stay away from it. If you want to learn about the stock market, then do what 300 other brilliant people have done in the past couple of months, and they've joined the Legion. And I'll charge you the same price, buddy. I won't even charge you enough charge because you're a professional. But stay the hell out of the stock market without calling me. Just be smart, okay? Because you don't know what you're doing. Anyway, he's big on this stock.
We were shorting it.
Yeah, thank you, Kevin, and your crowd. Appreciate you giving us that money. Look at this bastard. One day down 25%. I made 65 or 70% on my option. Some people clocked the whole 100. Yeah. All right. This was like a week and a half we put that money in our pockets.
Come on, man.
Come on, man. Okay. Boom, baby. This is what I'm talking about.
You know what I'm saying?
You want to get your money straight? You join the Legion.
Yo,
Come
man.
on tomorrow. We got a fun little Discord thing we're going to be doing. And by the way, Brandon, here's something you don't even know. Not even you know this.
What's up, man?
How about this? I'm going to tell you something that you don't know. That's hard to do, by the way. Everybody, look, he keeps well informed, and Brandon and I have an open communication. So, we talk a lot. So there's not much he doesn't know. But I'll tell you this. Tomorrow is Fed Wednesday.
Yeah, it is. Okay?
Fed Wednesday, this is the interest rate stuff. And by the way, they're going to raise 25 basis points. Kind of everybody knows that. That's not it. That the question is, the questions that will be answered will not really come out, but they think they will in the press release and the press conference. That's when the answers will come out. Everyone knows they're going to do 25 bips. What they're thinking about is, are you going to stop here? Are you going to keep going? Are you going to cut rates? What most of the market crowd is hoping is that they're not only going to stop after 25 tomorrow, which I don't care if they do or they don't. I don't know if they will or they won't. But they want to have the Fed start cutting rates before the end of the year. As a matter of fact, the market has priced in 50 basis points of cuts before the end of the year. I think that's completely insane. Okay. That's ludicrous to think that the Fed's going to come all this way and then a couple of months do a 180 and start cutting rates that much. If they do, the market will go up for a little bit. The economy will repair for a little bit. Inflation will come back like a total ugly bastard. Yeah, and then next year they'll be raising rates again. It's like erratic. They all need to be on Prozac. Anyway, so Fed Wednesday coming out tomorrow. Okay. So tomorrow from 1:45 p.m. until roughly 3:45 p.m. live on Discord for Legion members only. This is not for the public. This is for Legion members only. Greg and I are going to be sitting there live trading for that 2 hours.
Live trading.
On all of our people, all of our Legion members, all of the Centurions will be there who can see it, participate, active, inactive, whatever you want to do. We'll be calling out and managing live trades. Now, I've been doing that a little bit the last 2 weeks, as you know. You do know about this.
Yeah.
What I've been doing is I check the gap stocks in the morning before the market opens. Okay. As an example, look at this. Dell stock gaps up today. Okay, the open was way up here. So that long tail isn't there yet in the morning. Just picture all you see is up here. And then yesterday's trading. So it gaps up in the morning. When Microsoft had earnings, the stock gapped up. You can see the gap. When Meta had earnings, you see the gap. Okay, when Intel had earnings, you see the gap. When GM had earnings before the market opened, it was gapping up. Okay. And it's not just earnings that causes these types of things. It could be some other situations like a Morgan Stanley puts a buy recommendation or a sell recommendation on a particular stock, and it happens before the market opens, and then they gap. Everybody wants to jump in these because they're headline news stories, and there's a lot of extra volume and activity going on. Well, there's some of these stocks you want to mess with, and some there aren't. I put out notes in the morning, don't mess with Microsoft or Meta. And look, it barely moved. There hasn't been any action there, okay? But we shorted that GM. We shorted this Intel right here. That was a thing of beauty, okay? And then this morning, right there, Pfizer. That's in the notes. You can check Discord. It's right there. Okay?
Come on, guys. Listen, y'all need to join the Discord so y'all can, like, if y'all want to start making some money off these trades, you know, because it's going to take you too long to learn this, man. And Veron's been doing it for man long. You need to learn it, man.
No question about it. If you want to get in on the trade, the live trade that we're doing tomorrow, you got to be in the Legion. That's not just Discord. You got to come into Discord, and then you got to join our Legion, which is easy to do. And I don't know why you wouldn't. It's the most amazing decision you've ever made in your life. That'll be able to tell you. So get in there, do that. We'll be live trading right before the Fed, all the way through it. It's going to be fun, different, exciting. And then, of course, we got the Trader Town Hall, and that is for everybody. That's open to the public, and that's at 4:15.
Yo, sounds good. Yo, Romulus, thank you so much, man. I'm excited for all this, man. I can't wait to hear your take on Fed Wednesday, man.
Always appreciate you too, Brandon. Be good.
I appreciate it, man. Listen, guys, join the Discord. You know what I'm saying? Join the Discord. You get stock advice from my man Greg Romulus on trading, right? Trading advice from him. I'm coming out with the free course, Baller Mindset Discord. Discord guys are going to get it first. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to miss out on this. Hey, do we got some more super chats? Because we got a special guest tonight. We got another special guest coming.
We do. We have Life of D-Lou, investing in Thot Repellent every week. I'm in the gym daily. I'm reading and working 12 hours a day. I'm going to need it soon.
Woo! Yeah, you are. Yeah, you are, D-Lou. You know what I'm saying? Thank you for your contribution to the Thot Repellent, brother. You know what I'm saying? You're doing God's work.
We have Frosty 300.
Big Frost.
Do external commitments make it easier to schedule?
What I think you mean by that, what did he give me, like 50 cents? All right, I won't answer your question. What I think you meant by that is like saying telling someone else you're going to do it. Like if I tell people I'm going to go to the gym, then I'll work out more. You can do that if you want, but and it keeps you accountable if you need that, right? But it's a crutch. You know what I'm saying? It's a crutch. I think it's a lot better to have an internal commitment, right? A commitment to the person you want to be, to the man you want to be, right? A commitment to balling and shot calling. Commitment to flexing on the haters and stunning on the hoes. Right? A commitment to the man you want to be, a commitment to the man you want to be for your children, even if you don't have none yet. One day you're gonna have some kids, unless we get to Thot Repellent all the time, right? But one day you're gonna have some kids, potentially, and you want them looking up to you or not, right? Because if you don't influence them, then who will, right? Streets, fucking rappers, Lil Pump, you know what I'm saying? Kodak Black. They're gonna be his biggest influences. You know what I'm saying? Like you gotta, I was talking to a guy. I think I think my boy Wes Watson was saying this. It was a clip he had, and he said he was talking to a guy he knows, and he said, "Man," the guy was telling him, man, my nephew, he won't listen to us. He's going down the wrong path. He won't listen to anything I said. And Wes was like, because you a dork, man. You a loser, bro. You fucking fat, poor. What the fuck he gonna listen to you for? Right? He's not influential. You know what I'm saying? So like that, they got to look up to you if you want to be influential to them. You know what I'm saying? What else we got? Oh man. Oh shit, Eric.
We have Eric.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Brandon.
What up?
I love your videos. You're top C. A question I'm hoping you can help me with.
So,
I work for the U.S. Coast Guard.
hey, thank you for your service. You know what I'm saying?
How do I make money when you're out at sea half the time in a boat with guys who just want to get drunk? I don't want to be broke.
I don't know what it's like to be a seaman. That's what they're called. That wasn't derogatory. Thank you for your service. I don't know what it's like to be a soldier at sea. I'll put it like that. However, you know, man, you're gonna have to separate yourself a little bit if all they want to do is get drunk and, you know, need to be fighting pirates. There's a real pirate problem. You heard about this? It's a pirate problem, like a real pirate problem. Look it up. There's real pirates out here. But anyway, you know, you're gonna have to separate yourself from them in certain ways, you know, and you don't have to actively. That's the thing. You don't have to cut people off. You just need to be so focused on what you kind of do, where it's kind of like a crowd out. Like you don't have enough space for them. Like I never had to actively cut a lot of people off, except for some of the guys who's like going to jail and stuff, right? You know, but for the most part, you know, like my loser friends or some of the family members, I was just so focused on my grind that we just didn't have time for them, right? So you should just be so focused that it's not a problem. But you know, man, you on the right path, bro. You on the right path. Get there. I don't know what your living situation is like. If you got the internet while you out there on the ocean, on the 7 seas, then I'm sure you can figure something out. But yo, good luck to you, brother. Join the Discord, man. We'll set you straight up in there. You know what I'm saying? Hey, man, listen, guys, we got a special guest. You know what I'm saying? the word baller shot caller, it gets thrown around a lot, right? It really does. But sometimes it's applicable, right? And when it comes to like really investing, right, long-term investments and like building business and, you know, real estate, stuff like that, there's no one better, in my opinion, than one of my best friends, honestly, man, my brother, Derek Moneyberg. He's the only person I know who teaches this stuff. He's one of the only people I know who teaches this stuff, who actually makes more money teaching it than he does doing it, you know? And I wanted to bring him on today, just talking to y'all about, you know, getting money. That's what we're here for, man. We're here to get money, man. Money, muscle, mindset. That's what we talk about here on the Victory Talk. My man, Derek Moneyberg. Let's bring him to the stage.
Let's start it.
What's going on, brother?
Long time no see, sir. How are you?
Yeah, man. It's been too long. It's been too long.
My hair is a bit disheveled. I've been getting a little training in. One of my best and favorite MMA coaches is over for a few days to torment me and make sure I earn my purple belt.
Oh, we seen you training. You about to get that purple belt now, right?
It's true. I got the homie Glover to share a stop.
Hello. How you
Hey,
doing?
what's going on, man? How are you?
Good.
Nice to meet you, man. I've heard nothing but good things about
Yeah, thank you, man. Same here.
you. Yeah.
Try to work hard. Try to learn from this guy's. You know, his birthday and he's here working out. You know, I say, where's the party? Over here, right here, the mat. See?
What y'all working on today, man? Now, what are y'all working on, man?
I'm working on
body slams.
Coach that, you know, something people don't know about weight cuts is Glover was world champion at 205 pounds, but in real life he's walking around about 235.
Yeah.
He's like a 4th degree black belt at least, and a hell of a
Jesus.
MMA fighter. So yeah, I just gotta work on staying alive in 2-minute increments. That's what I'm working on.
Can I ask you a question?
Sorry.
I'm sorry. No, it's cool, man. I apologize. We were talking about skill acquisition, getting better at things. How many years have you been training? Like, you're one of the best in the world at what you do.
Oh,
how many years? Yeah, you. How many years have you been training? You think?
20 years. 21
years.
Yeah.
How, if you had to guess, you know, we're trying to put together like a mathematical formula for skill acquisition. You at 20 years, you think you got well over 10,000 hours of training, actually training.
Yeah,
You think you got over 20,000 hours?
I couldn't. Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, 10,000. You say yeah. I think so. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think so because yeah. It just takes a, because that's what we've been talking about today. Like how long it takes you to get good at stuff.
20 years, even at
10,000,
1,000 per year is 20 hours per week. 19 hours
Yeah.
per week
Yeah.
gets you to 20,000 hours.
For sure.
Yeah, 20,000. Because I have this theory that 20,000 hours makes you one of the best ever. And from what I know about you, you're one of the best to ever do it.
Yeah.
So I had this theory, and this is what we've been talking about, just how many hours it takes to really be elite at something. So I just wanted to get your take on that.
I think so. And plus, it's more than 20 hours. You talk about 10,000 hours physically, like working out, the training. But you got to think, when we want something big, our mind don't stop. So we work. We talk about like that week was like whatever, 20 hours a week, but your mind work way more than 20 hours a week, because you go home thinking like, oh man, well, I could do this, I could do that. It'd be like Derek over here. Derek, sometimes he stops like this and he goes like this. Okay, I got you what he's saying now. He come down and he do all this,
I've seen him do that. Yeah, no, that's cool, because that's something we've been talking about on this episode, just how long it takes people to get good at stuff, or in the different levels of good. So that's exciting to hear that what you say corroborates my theory. That's fantastic. Moneyberg, man, you and I, man, we're doing something kind of special this weekend. We're talking about getting money. I'm flying to Chicago. We're having a little get together. We're talking about getting money.
It's my favorite thing to do. I've been very poor at certain times in my life. I've been rather wealthy for a lot of my life, certainly on a relative basis versus my peers. And, I decided that being wealthy beats the shit out of being poor.
Yeah, it does.
I think in a first world country that your level of wealth is a lifestyle choice. If you were born in some dump somewhere, if you were born in some ghetto, some dump, and by the way, some of my friends were, and they still multi-millionaires or world champions or both.
Oh man, no, you ain't got to tell me.
Born in a dump, in a shithole country, maybe you don't have the resources. Maybe karma didn't go your way. The universe wanted you to stay poor and dumb. But if you're in a first world country, and you're poor and dumb, that's a lifestyle choice. You did that to yourself.
Choice, man.
You did that to yourself.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. We want to help them get out of poverty, man. We doing a free training, man. This Saturday.
Free. I'm not doing a free training. I'm doing a training for no charge.
Okay. All right, my fault. Sorry.
What happens though is people hear free, and it's like some dummy will make a comment like, well, why are they charging for something? They did the free training. If they spend 300 hours, if they put together a 300-hour course, and I go through, why isn't that free too? So if you like free, go get free, dummy. Stay poor. Stay poor. Stay stupid. I like to work with the best people in the world. I like to work.
Come on, man.
Can help me cut my learning curve. That if I show up for my own success, I'm going to get great results. If I come do what's intelligently required of me, I'm going to get great results. And
come on, man.
For people that like free and like, just go Google some random shit on YouTube and use that as your investment advice and see how that goes for you. So
come on, man.
I hate the word free. I think it puts the wrong anchor in people's heads. And
I got you. We're doing it no charge.
No charge. I'm willing to share a few things, here on this call, and I'm willing to share a lot more things. We'll have more time on Sunday when we do that training.
It's on Sunday. The link is in the description. You guys need to sign up. I'm flying to Chicago to do this with Moneyberg. Who's money? Man, Derek is he's one of my best friends, right? He's like a fucking brother to me, right? But he's also super, super rich. Like super rich, man. That's how you got the moniker Moneyberg. What are some keys of these guys who want to get who want to actually make some money immediately coming from you. Like they want to really up their game. They want to go from the ghetto streets to the hotel sheets. It's hotel suites. You know what I'm saying? They want to go from riding the train to first class on the plane.
From the crack house to the penthouse.
Come on, man. Let's go. How they do that, man?
If you think you're going to get rich overnight, you're probably going to go broke overnight. I don't teach anything about get rich quick. Glover, how do I get my black belt this weekend? I mean, I could buy it on Amazon. I could buy a black belt on Amazon, but that don't mean that I have the skills.
It's got to be in you, not on you, man.
If I got to go compete with somebody that's got a real black belt and they earned theirs, it's going to be bad. It's going to be bad.
Bro, it's got to be in you, not on you. Yeah.
I think for people that it's an extraordinary indicator of foolishness and stupidity to think, oh, I got to get rich quick. I'm going to get rich overnight. I didn't get rich overnight. It took me 35 years to build what I built. It took me 35 years.
35 years.
The idea
that goes to what I've been saying all the time. I'm talking about putting in the hours. Like you got to really put in the hours of practice, and you had training from the best college, the best business school in the nation.
I spent 9 years in universities. I grew up a misfit kid. You know that. Some of the people here would know that. So I grew up in a difficult household, in single family household. That wasn't very nice. It wasn't fun. I didn't have the best mom. My dad really wasn't there. And I'm not trying to tell a sad story. I'm saying I had some of the difficulties that other people here could relate to. Some people here had a better life than me. Some people here had a worse life than me. That's fine. But wherever you're at, you got to start there. Start there. Don't play this pretend game of like, if I had blah 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 and blah 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 to start with, then I'd be rich too. Fuck them guys. No, man. That sort of philosophy, that sort of lack of thinking is going to keep you poor and dumb, and that's unfortunate. It's unnecessary. So if a person who's willing to put in some work, they could have a good outcome over time. They could have a tremendous outcome over time. And somebody that wants to get rich quick, I hear people talk about day trading, and I see you had a fella on here talking about day trading, and good luck. Yeah. So if you accidentally made little money in the short term, the statistics on that are so rough.
How do you do it? How do you get that? How do because you long-term investing, right? And that's that's what really got me in it. But what are some of the I'm sorry. What are some of the I'm laughing at Nima, man. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Well, what are some of the keys, man? What are some real tips that these guys can use, man, to take it to the next level, man?
If you don't know what your competition does, you're going to be at a terrible disadvantage. You basically have no chance. You really have no chance. If you're it's really hard to learn something new if you think you know everything already. So I think you got to have a pretty open mind. But the long-term wealth creation, any wealth creation, there's no short-term wealth creation. You're not going to make $100 million overnight. There's no short-term wealth creation. So
that's a fact.
It's not right to say long-term wealth creation, because I should just say wealth creation. Creating
it's just one thing.
It's going to take time. And if you're not willing to, if you think that you like your ego more than your results, if you like your ego more than you like your outcomes, then you're going to have very bad outcomes, because you're going to have to learn a lot of things. You're going to have to, you're going to have some vulnerable, you're going to have some blind spots exposed, and you're going to feel kind of vulnerable, because you're going to have to learn a lot of things. Like, man, I really don't know what the fuck I'm doing right now.
Learn it the hard way.
Admitting that, admitting your blind spots and admitting that you need help with something is like the first step to actually doing good. So,
I see you doing that every day. Like you you got some of the best coaches in the world. Like you wanted to get good at this stuff, and you didn't just you didn't watch any YouTube videos. You didn't just watch YouTube videos and listen to some podcasts.
When I say this, it sounds cocky, and I don't mean it to be cocky. And if you for those of here that understand anything about martial arts, they'll get this. But I don't have some of the best coaches in the world. I have the best coaching team in the world. I have the best. even a professional fighter, could they work with all the people that I'm working with across the gyms, this gym, the head coach of one gym, head coach of another gym?
Not really. I'm learning stuff from
You can't do that.
What he said, we couldn't hear him, man. I'm sorry.
Glover says that, when he coming over here training with me, he says he's learning things that Gordon Ryan taught me and Jake Shields and other people taught me that, he wouldn't know himself. And he's
wow,
extraordinary.
You get to consolidate the best of the best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I don't tell those people how to do jiu-jitsu. I don't tell those people how to do MMA. I mostly shut the fuck up and listen. And then do what they tell me. And then I ask, what could I do better? And I say, oh, you're doing good. I say, oh, that's really nice. I'm glad I'm doing good. That sounds really sweet. What could I do better? What else could I do?
What? That's something I've always noticed about you. Like every time me and you've ever done anything, we've done a lot of events like all over the world. We're together. And you always pull me aside and you say, what could I have improved on? What could I have done better? I noticed that from the beginning. And, especially as somebody who people may misconstrue you as like arrogant, self-centered, right? But you're someone who has like no ego about self-improvement, about getting better. Like you always want to get, like, you believe in yourself, but you always trying to get better. I noticed that from day one.
I am self-centered, and I'm unashamedly self-centered. I care very deeply about myself and the outcomes that I can provide, because the better person that I can be, the better self that I can be, the more I could contribute to other people's lives, the more I could help other people. And the more I can help other people, the happier they are to help me with something in the future. So it is a selfish goal of mine that I'd like to be very useful to you. I'd like to be useful to my other friends. And, the more I could help high quality people, solve difficult problems in their lives, the more they were happy to help me solve some problems in my life, and we were both better off. So I'm unashamedly selfish. I don't trust somebody that says that they're not selfish. I think they're either lying or dumb, perhaps both. Not absolutely exclusive. But when somebody says, "Oh, they have who are the people that talk about altruism the most?" It tends to be like a politician or a religious leader. This trying to do something awkward with your family or your funds. So I don't really believe in that. But I'd like you. I'd like the people in your audience to, out of sheer selfishness, if nothing else, make yourself smarter, make yourself wealthier, and you have more resources that you could, help the people that you care about. You could help any causes that you might care about. All these broke people talking about charity and being charitable with their time. I'm gonna go volunteer my time. I'm gonna do this and that, and if I had money, I'd just give it away. Well, that's why you're broke. So you got to go do something first.
You gotta go get it.
You got to go do something first. So you could do whatever you want later, but you got to go do something that matters first. And regarding the ego comment, is like, I just like my goals more than my ego. It ain't that I don't have any ego. Sometimes I really have and then it hurts my feelings for just a second, and then I think, well, all right, what do I got to do? Is it worth it? Is it worth it to pay the price to be good at this? Is it worth it to pay the price to be better at this? And you're not going to be great at everything, so I'm never going to be a great golfer because I just don't care. I'm not willing to spend the time. I'm never going to be great at, I got a $200,000 piano. I'm never going to be able to play it worth a damn because I don't spend the time. I like looking at it. You've seen it. I like looking at it.
Beautiful.
I can't play it. I'm not going to learn to play it.
It's too expensive for me to even play it. I don't even want to touch it.
So there's plenty of things I'm never going to be good at, but when I do focus on something, I really commit myself to it, and I find the best coaches, the best mentors, the best teachers that I could learn from, and I try to make myself useful to those people, and I try to respect the lessons that they share with me. I want to show up. I slept about less than 3.5 hours last. Today's my birthday.
Happy birthday, man. Look, Moneyberg, happy birthday. This in comments.
Well, thank you. Today's my birthday, and I slept less than 3.5 hours last night, and I had to fly for 3 hours and change today, and I'm not skipping training.
Come on, man.
You asked me to come on your call and help some of your clients, help some of the people in your audience. I said, oh man, it's my birthday and I didn't sleep much. Could I say that? I didn't say that. But I'm here.
Same, man. Like I was up pretty late too, and I was up early working with my students early in the morning. You know, so this is go for it. But it wasn't my birthday, right? So that it's an extra piece of badassery in there.
I heard a wise man once say he made a video, and he described in his YouTube video that like when is the most important time to go to the gym? I believe it might have been titled something like that. And he said the most important time to go is when you don't want to.
Yeah.
And he explained, I'm sure he was a professor of psychology or something. This gentleman explained in the video that, those are moments where you're at a decision point. You're at like a node in the flow chart or a decision point where you're either going to make a decision to go do the thing that you've committed yourself to, and that might be difficult at the time. In which case you're building your neural pathways to do more difficult things in the future that'll be highly rewarded. And when you engage in those champion type behaviors, winner type behaviors, you become more of a winner. You become more of a champion.
That's right.
And, what a lot of people do when they don't feel like doing something is they make a decision with their feelings. And there's a name for people that tend to make emotional decisions instead of logical decisions, is commonly known as a bitch.
Yeah.
And when you make bitch ass decisions, it makes it easier for you in the future to continue to make another bitch ass decision and another one. And pretty soon your whole life is, not much. So you either build ways to be more of a winner, more of a champion, or, you're entrenching your brain to provide for you a bitch ass life. And that's a lifestyle choice. So whoever the wise man was that shared that wisdom.
I think I've seen him. Tall, handsome fellow, looks kind of like the Oscar statue. If the lights are right.
Like the bronze Oscars, yeah.
Yeah.
So, I those sort of things are anchored in my head that, a person, to your question of like, what are some things they're going to have to do? You're going to have to be uncomfortable. You're going to have to learn some new things. You're going to have to admit to yourself that you don't know everything. If you already know everything about business, good luck to you. Warren Buffett, I've seen him, he was 86. Warren said at age 86, he said he thinks he understands about 2% of what there is to understand about business. If Warren knows 2%. And me, you touched on this earlier. I spent 9 years in universities. I went to the best business school in our country.
I was born in that school, hospital, university. But I didn't attend. I was just born there. Then they kicked me out.
There's a lot of high IQ people there. Probably, you'd be another one. They'll give you a Nobel Prize for something one day.
Yeah, it worked out well for me. You know what I'm saying? So we both attended the same place, kind of different ways.
The way that I got those results, I was patient. The way I got the results that I have, I was patient. I was willing to put in the work. I wanted to learn from the best coaches, best teachers, best mentors, and anything that I focused on. And, I do want to take a moment to alienate a few people that, like, if you're the type of person that thinks like, I'm gonna go do it my way. I'm gonna go do it my way. I'm gonna get rich my way. I'm gonna do my own thing. Well, I grew up with some guys that did their own thing, and some of them went to prison multiple times. Some of them are dead now, and the rest of them are broke and entirely unremarkable in any positive way. So you go do your own thing, and you're going to be in a very. It's going to be bad, man. It's going to be bad. It's going to be bad, and it's unnecessary suffering, which makes a person that wants to do it their way really dumb. Like, I don't want to learn martial arts by myself. I don't want to, as you touched on, like, I don't know. I mean, I could get like a big teddy bear, and I could roll it around. I could choke a teddy bear on the mats over here. Watch a YouTube video. Big teddy bear here. It's better for me to learn from people that already had extraordinary results that are Hall of Fame type results, world champion type results. It's better for me to learn from them than try to choke a teddy bear by myself on the mat.
Yeah. I mean, if you don't get coaching from I always tell people, if you're serious about something, you got to get a coach in it, right? If you're not serious, if you don't have a coach in that regard, then it's kind of like you're just not taking it seriously. Like Michael Jordan had to get Tim Grover to train him if he went to win the championship.
And 9 other coaches. He had 10.
Come on, man. He one of the best athletes of all time, and he couldn't do it without coaches. Like, how do we expect to do it? You're making a mockery of your goals if you try to go at it alone.
You know, I was thinking if you could possibly accomplish your goals by yourself, you need bigger goals. If it's possible you could accomplish your current goals by yourself, you need bigger goals. So what would happen if you had a great team around you? You couldn't do much more? Of course you could. Of course you could. Foolish. So, you know,
knew better, you do better, man. You need to stop blocking your blessings and learn your lessons.
If you could possibly do it by yourself, you need bigger goals. And life's not that way, man. Life's not that way. Now, on the upside, for somebody that knows, you know, they could admit to themselves, like, hey, I don't know everything there is to know on earth. I could, you know, if I knew better, I'd do better. I don't make an effort to go learn a few things. I'm really happy to help those type of people. We're going to give a presentation for a couple hours and then answer an extensive Q&A. I made a very nice presentation that I had my team whip up, and I supervised that, and I sketched it out, supervised it, made endless revisions on it. And we're going to give a presentation on Sunday that's going to help you understand a lot of the fundamentals of, you know, what you need to understand of entrepreneurship, of global markets and real estate to make educated decisions that are going to lead to serious long-term wealth. Not some get rich quick, but how to make serious long-term wealth.
Serious long-term wealth.
Even you, I mean, you could do that. If you're here watching, if you're smart enough to be here, you're not alienated yet by a couple things I said about dummies. If you're offended by the word dummy, it's you I'm talking about.
Hey, man, it's you talking about.
If you're offended by the word, that's you, man. That's you.
You remember that joke I made? I made a joke. I was probably too tasteless to say on the internet, but I made a joke at one of your presentations, and like half the room laughed and half didn't. And I was like, it's them. He's the one who got. Yeah, he's the one who got the finger.
I'm happy to tell people that are serious. So we're going to do a couple-hour presentation. Afterwards, we're going to do Q&A for a period of time. Make sure we answer intelligent questions. If you still stick around after that, we're going to answer a lot of intelligent questions. And but I just want to make sure the right people show up. If I say a couple harsh things on here, I want to make sure that, like, you know, the right people are going to show up, and the wrong people are sufficiently alienated. So he said mean words to me. I wouldn't learn from a guy that said mean words. All right, stay dumb.
If you wanted to enjoy life, motherfuckers, people who always comment on my videos, oh man, you don't have to work that hard to enjoy life. Don't click that link. Don't. All right. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to see you around here. Right. I don't want to see you around. This is for people who pride themselves on working hard, who actually want to rise to their potential, not rise to their impulses, not fall to their impulses. They want to rise to their potential.
Success is not for everybody.
It's not.
It may or may not do it for you. Success only, 99 out of 100 people don't make it to the top 1%, and the top 1% is not a big goal. The top 1% is like 450,000, 460,000 a year.
I jump off the roof. That's all I made. I'll be honest with you, man.
I don't mean to say it in a rude way, but I make more than that in a month. On an average month, I make more money than that. The 1% so, I mean, you could do better. There's people out there. Hey, if I said that to Warren Buffett, would he say I'm bragging? It's like, no, but Buffett's making.
You'd be like, that's a nice start, man. You're doing all right.
Good job, little fella.
You can't live off it, but it's a nice start.
He makes millions of dollars a day just in his dividend distributions, And then additionally, appreciation on the assets that he owns. So you wouldn't care about the little money I'm making. It wouldn't even be a rounding error to him. But I'm just making the point that, if you're people, it was popular some years ago to talk bad about the evil 1%. Well, I mean, you should be in the top 1%.
Come on, man. You can't beat join them.
If you were contributing more, you'd be in the top 1% already. And if you know how to do that, I don't know a person who would choose to have less resources for themselves.
Why would you choose that?
For their family. That's you wouldn't call that a brilliant individual. So
I mean, I think about, you got a lot of these guys gonna have kids one day, you know what I'm saying? And or maybe they got kids now, and when they get on to tell their kids, you can be whatever you want. That's what people tell their kids. And one of two things is gonna happen. If you don't make the most out of yourself, rise to your potential, one of two things is gonna happen when you say that to your kid. He's gonna look at you and be like, ugh, it's all you wanted? Bus driver? Right? Or he's gonna look at you mopping floors or whatever you're doing, and he's gonna be like, he's not gonna believe you. He's gonna be, nah, we can't be whatever we want. People like us, we just mop floors.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And you really disrespecting your legacy even more. You know what I'm saying? By doing that, you gotta this is only for people who are serious about fulfilling their potential. And if that's not you, I understand. Just like, don't be saying stop saying my name wrong at Starbucks. Yeah. Right? They always say Brandy. I'm like, nah, man, it's Brandon, right? Stop. You can't even get that shit right. That's why you're working at Starbucks. So don't fuck my order up, motherfucker. Is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, when I get in your Uber, I always pay for the premium Uber. I pay for the most expensive Uber, and I put in the preset settings that I want it to be cold and quiet. So when I get in the Uber, make sure this temperature is 67 or lower, and make sure that you turn the music off and don't speak to me. So you got the opportunity to speak to me on Sunday. You can come speak to me on Sunday if you bring intelligent questions. You can come speak to Brandon Carter and I together on Sunday if you bring intelligent questions. If you choose to not come, when I summon a peasant with my app and you appear, when I summon a peasant and you appear to take me to the airport, I want you to respect those settings that it says cold and quiet. So don't talk to me then, peasant. You can come talk to me on Sunday if you want to. If you're serious, you come talk on Sunday. If you miss that opportunity, cold and quiet. Keep those settings in your mind. Respect them.
Yeah. And listen, and if you're not serious about success, that's cool, man. It's like, it's not even a big deal. It's not for everyone, right? You
don't need our help to stay poor.
You don't need that. You can do that. You've been doing that shit your whole life. You mastered poverty.
You don't need our
right. You got well over 10,000 hours of poverty. You mastered. You put in the work to get good at being poor, right? So you can just keep doing that, right? That's your default setting, obviously. You can just keep doing that shit. You don't need our help for it. Maybe if you want some money, you want some disposable income, maybe your wife's boyfriend will let you borrow some money, but you want to pay him back. You don't want him to fuck you up again like you did last time in front of the kids. All right, you know what I'm saying? You want to pay him back eventually. But that might be an alternative game plan for you,
Hey, it's a lifestyle.
Maybe.
For those of you
maybe.
Those of you that want to choose more and earn more, happy to help. I think you should click that link. Join us on Sunday. I'm gonna give you a couple hours presentation. Spend a couple hours giving you a lot of very structured fundamentals. Right now, I'm just here to separate the group. Okay. My
choosing to lose.
I'm here on my birthday to separate the group. So if there's somebody that's got a half-assed dedication, if you got less than a serious dedication, less than a serious focus, don't come. You don't need our help to stay mediocre.
Come on, man.
I didn't go to the school that I went to stay mediocre. I went there to learn from the best people. I didn't get the coaching team I put together for MMA. I didn't do that to be average. I did that to be exceptional at it. Okay. So I get it. If it's not a priority for you, if you don't want more freedom, if you don't want more wealth, if you don't want, the nice things in life that come with, self-respect and success and, opportunity. If you don't want those things, that's fucking weird. But okay, man, it's your choice.
Strange, man. Strange way to live. Strange way to live life, but it's cool, man. You know what I'm saying? If you're either you choosing to lose it.
If you're a person that's doing well already and you want to do even better, click that link and come see us on Sunday.
Come on, man.
We can give you a lot of structure. We're gonna point you in the right direction. And for those of you that are serious, I'll make you a special offer to join us and work closely together. I don't take money from the wrong people. I don't want to work with the wrong people. To work with me privately, you have to fill out an application. You have to go through an interview process.
It's rigorous process. Each step more.
Step process. And, we don't want the wrong people. So again, my intention here, two separate intentions. My intention here is to separate those of you that are serious. Click the link and come see us Sunday. Those of us that don't care about your future, those of you that don't care about your future, you don't need my help with that. You can be mediocre by yourself. So please don't come.
Good at it.
But if you're serious, click the link and come see us on Sunday. On Sunday, I'm going to give you a lot more structure, put a very detailed presentation that are pragmatic things that you don't have to spend any money. You can learn a lot of things on there. There's no charge to attend. You're going to learn a lot of things on there without making any other purchase. So you're welcome to do that. If you do that, it's going to make your life so good. You're going to come back and want to work with me anyway. The best of you will.
Come on, man.
I have full confidence in that. Click that link. If you're a chooser, not a loser, click the link. Happy to help.
Victor, not a victim. You a champ, not a chump.
In fact, you know what? Right over here on my wall, right over here, it says right here, are you behaving like a champ or a chump?
You gotta
Right
look yourself in the mirror and answer that question.
Right over here says, your goals don't care about your excuses. Goals don't care about your excuses. If I keep going, right over here is my favorite guy, Derek Moneyberg.
Hey man, that's the Holy Trinity right there. Holy Trinity, you're balling.
With the Monopoly man and Scrooge.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna leave it there, guys. I'm gonna get back to training with Glover here.
All right, man. Yo, thank you so much.
But I
Thank you so much, man. I'll see you this weekend, brother.
Brandon and I can't be more dedicated to your future than you are.
Come on, man.
If you're serious about a brighter future, click that link. Bring intelligent questions. We're going to do a couple-hour presentation. We're going to spend a lot of time on Q&A. If you're the right type of person, come. If you're okay with mediocrity, go do anything else, man. You could go do anything and end up in a mediocre spot. You don't need our help with that.
Yeah, man. You just
make a wise decision.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Thank
you so much, brother.
Thank you.
Yo, I know we had just a few more super chats. If you read a few of them, listen, click that link, man. I'm flying to Chicago, doing this presentation with Moneyberg for y'all, man. You know, I'm always trying to give y'all as much game as possible. You know what it is, man. We out here balling, shot calling. You know what I'm saying? Listen, an intelligent person can play stupid, but a stupid person can't play intelligent. I don't know what that means, but click that link, man. I heard a pimp
the link
say
is
that
first link in the description, just in case if you guys wondering where the link is. It's the first link in the description.
I heard a pimp named Saucy say that once. You know what I'm saying? And I don't really know what it means, but it sounds hard. You know what I'm saying? Just signed up. Let's go, man. Shout out to you, Giraffe. Go Loot. You know what I'm saying? Go Loot. Shout out to you. Graph Writer. You know what I'm saying? Quattro 7. Well, yeah.
Oh, you want the super chat?
If you got him.
We have Thomas. I want to invest in my savings into a business. I'm confident in my abilities, but there's a part that's afraid I'll lose it. Did you have that feeling? Is there a book that helps stop that doubt?
I wanted you to see what you said. You said you're confident in your abilities, but there's a part that feels like you may lose it. That means you're not confident in your abilities. You know what I'm saying? Like, remember when we went, what was that last vacation, man? We took the private jet. Where did we go? One of them islands.
Bahamas?
But we went to the Bahamas, man. I was just jumping in the water, no life vest. You know what I'm saying? I'm swimming with the fishes, you know, because I wasn't afraid. There was no fear. There was no trepidation, right? That's confident in your abilities. I just jumped in like a G, right? The fact that you have fear means you're not confident. And here's the thing. That's okay. That's okay. Maybe if you don't have confidence, right? You don't need to eliminate self-doubt. That's not what you need. You need to increase the courage, right? Because you can't talk. There's no book that you're gonna read that just make you believe in yourself. You got to go do the shit, baby. You got to do it. The reason I'm able to swim with the fishes and shit, you know, in the middle of the ocean, the Atlantic Ocean, is because when I was a fucking baby, you know, like my parents, I was scared initially, but they taught me how to swim. I was scared then, and I had a lot of self-doubt. Did it anyway. I was courageous young man, right? But now I have confidence because confidence comes from competence, right? When you're good at something, then you have all the confidence in the world in doing it, right? But if I wanted to do my own plumbing right now, I'd have no confidence in my business, in my ability to fix the fucking sink. Zero. Because I never did this shit before. If I did have confidence in it, it'd be delusional. All these motherfuckers, so you just got to be confident, be confident. That's bullshit. That's delusion, bro. That's like schizophrenia. Motherfuckers like that end up in the psych ward. Yeah, it happens, you know. And What you want to do is be brave. You don't need more confidence. You need more. You need more courage. And ain't nothing you can read. Hey, you can read a book about courage, but sooner or later you're gonna have to face your fears. You know what I'm saying? Or you don't, right? Or you could just allow your fears to become, this self-made prison that keeps you in bondage. But that's the choice you gotta make, man. You know what I'm saying? I implore you to just be brave. Be brave. Be courageous. You don't need more. You don't need more courage. You don't need more confidence. You can't read a book to give you more confidence. You got to be courageous. You know what I'm saying? Let's go.
He has a follow-up question.
Mm-hmm.
How much money have you spent on mentors throughout your life?
Yo, I don't know if I should add that up. I should add that up. It's definitely millions. Let's think.
That sounds like a TikTok video.
Yeah, that's right. That's a writer downer. You know what I'm saying? We'll do a video over that. But I don't know, man. Like, there was one year I joined 2 different masterminds, and they were both $50,000 for the year. And I think this is like 2020, or it was 2021, right? And I paid the Wolf of Wall Street to mentor me. I gave him $25K. And then shit, man. I don't know. It's throughout my whole life, I don't know. It's definitely over 6 figures a year. For sure. And I have my own one-on-one coach, like my own personal business mindset coach. It's a weird thing too, because I make more money than him, right? But one, it's hard to find people who make more money than me, who are like who you can pay to coach you, but it's kind of like that guitarist I was telling you about, the guitarist from Maroon 5, how he goes and works with a guitar teacher when he's not on tour, even though he's way more successful musician than his guitar teacher, but sometimes it's difficult to see the picture when you're actually in the frame, if that makes sense, so just having an outside eye on it, someone who could see outside. That's a good question. I have to really look into it. It's definitely over 6 figures a year for sure.
I wrote it down. So we got Shawnee.
Big Shawnee.
Been in the Legion for months now, and my portfolio up 10%, bro.
Come on, let's go.
I need that Thot Repellent.
Come on, man. Let's go. Shout out to you, bro.
We have Money Moves. BBC, since the podcast, I'm up 32,000 this year. I picked up a part-time job, and I'm working 64 to 72-hour weeks. I'm following your blueprint. Thanks, G.
That's what I'm talking about. Money Moves. Let's go. And what you're going to do is you're going to get the baller mindset course, and we're going to show you how to deploy that extra income use it as leverage to get more money. You know what it is.
I got excited.
Sorry.
Extra guac. Legionnaires in the house. Teeth for the Thot Repellent call.
Tithe. That's tithe. He's paying his tithes. Yeah.
Learn something new every day.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Hey, listen.
Shaquille.
Oh, my Shaquille in the house.
Shout out to King Keto and the Victory Unit.
Oh, man. You know what it is, Jaquil. My people are creative with the names.
Samson.
Okay.
Mayo. Love what you do, Brandon. Keep it up, sir.
Fred Sir Samson Mayo. Hey, man. You keep it up as well, Samson.
Brandon. You're making a mockery of your goals if you go at it alone.
Ooh.
Bars.
It was. I made that shit up on the spot. Just came to me. I forgot I said it. Thank you, Brandon.
DOJ. Shout out to Moneyberg.
Yeah, you know what it is. What up, homie?
And Alexander. Honest thoughts on meditation. I know it increases IQ, testosterone, and only takes 10 minutes. Do you agree with the other guy from F&F podcast?
You know what, man? I kind of just stay quiet on that, because I know, Moneyberg was super passionate about it. And, you know what I'm saying? It's like, and then, he that's not his thing. For me, I just know, for me, this is too many studies to question the validity. I think what he said was excessive meditation, right? If I'm not mistaken, he said excessive meditation, right? Because sooner you still got to fucking work, right? You know what I'm saying? You still got to work. But what it does for me is it keeps you calmer. It definitely shows it increases IQ, testosterone. People who meditate more get sick less, all that stuff. It's comical how long the list of benefits are, but you can do anything to an extreme, right? So I think what he meant was people do it so much that they're not working, right? They're not fucking working. You know what I'm saying? And that's I'm with him on that. Right? You still got to work, but I meditate so I can work harder, and I meditate to keep me off the wanted list, so I don't attack nobody. Right? It make me way calmer. I used to have some issues with anger, my emotions, but I'm a lot more emotionally stable. I got my emotional stability, and plus, it's the main way that I handle. I have bipolar too, but my therapist at the time, he was like, "Yo, you don't really need meditation. You don't need medication. It seems like you're handling it really, really well." And I was like, "Yeah, I meditate twice a day, and that's been the main thing that's helped me with it." Right. So
we got one more question
mm-hmm.
from Tony. Yo, Carter, what are some good, quick, healthy protein sources without having to cook for myself, since it's a waste of time? By the way, W. West Watts.
Oh, yeah. Yo, sardines. Sardines. Pop open a can, eat them, get back to work. Throw away the can, use a disposable fork. You know what I'm saying? Get right back to work. Easy. Protein bars, protein shakes, the pre-made one. Boom, just get it. That's probably the easiest way, right? I'll keep some jerkies on me, beef jerkies. You know what I'm saying? Yesterday my girl ordered a whole mess of chicken wings. And chicken wings, that's excellent protein. Excellent protein, And you just every time I couldn't eat them all in one sitting. So every time I'm hungry, just heat up some wings. Heat up some wings. Go ahead and eat them. Just reheat them. Reheat them and eat them. Reheat them and eat them. That's what we do over here. But we don't cook and clean them. We don't cook and clean over here because we gangsters. Right? No, only gangster motherfuckers who cook are Italians from the fucking 60s and 50s. See? Like those guys like to cook and they're gangsters, right? But that's it. You know what? I had a friend in high school. This is what we're going to do. I had a friend in high school. His dad could cook real good. He was an old Italian gangster. How do I know that? Because he's in prison now for doing old Italian gangster shit. He owned his name. Man, I wish I could find this guy. We were really close. His name was Dominic Rizzolo. And we went to military school together. If anybody knows Dom, get him in touch with me. Right? If anyone can find him. But his dad went to prison for doing some fucking G shit, and he owned a strip club in Las Vegas called the Crazy Horse 2. There was one in Chicago too that he owned, and his dad was a real G, and he cooked. That's the only exception to this whole cooking thing. Other than that, man, if you're not an old school Italian gangster, I don't want to see you cooking, man. You got shit to do. All right. Hey, this has been another episode of the Victor Unit Podcast. We covered a lot today. Skill acquisition. You might want to watch this again. Send it to a friend. Join the Discord. Follow us on Google Play. What? How does it work? Follow us on Spotify. I don't know.
Yeah. So if you go to the description, the first link is for the training, which is coming up. So with Moneyberg.
Moneyberg on Monday.
Yes.
Sunday.
Yeah, and then you'll find the link to join the free Discord channel, the Victory Unit, and also the audio podcast. So on Tuesdays and Thursdays, every single week, we are posting new podcast episode, audio version. Just make sure to follow, subscribe, and write a review once you find value in it, which you will.
Come on, man. You know what it is, man. I'm gonna see you guys this weekend, but not the dorks and the losers. Y'all stay away from us. All right. I'll holler at y'all. Peace.